Ever feel like your agency is stuck, depending upon referrals, scrambling for the next project, and sacrificing your own freedom? Well, Lindsay changed that, and she found her scalable core offering, she productized her expertise, and she built a $50K per month business. Now in this video, I sit down with Lindsay to show you the framework that she's used that's allowed nearly 900 agency owners to scale, profit, and finally take back control. And if at any point you'd like help productizing your service like Lindsay, then reach out to work with us using the link in the description. Enjoy. You obviously came from a world of like bigger brands, celebrities, situations where like you kind of have like these legacy whale clients, to the point now where you have like a very productized offer that you're selling and delivering repeatedly, and you have marketing systems in place. So I want to take the viewers through kind of that journey because I think it's one that a lot of people will resonate with. So first, can you start off by sharing who you are, what you do?
Yes, I'm Lindsay Christian. I run an agency dedicated now exclusively to creating capabilities decks for marketing agencies. And so I did start on the brand side. And so this kind of all came about because on the brand side, I was getting pitched by agencies all the time and the decks were not great. I couldn't figure out which agency I wanted to hire based on the capabilities decks in front of me. So I kind of took my background in marketing with the brand side and kind of married that with my creative design skills that I had acquired, and started focusing on pitch deck design and then more specifically capabilities deck design. So that's how I landed with the agency that I have now, where we do capabilities decks.
I love it. So I want to kind of like go back, I mean, we've been working together now for about like 3 years, and you're the type of person that's like you see it and then you start implementing, and like you're kind of like an optimizer, but I want to kind of flash back to like, if you even can, like when a lot of things were custom and like clients had different needs, the juggling of like kind of larger clients and like the differing demands. Like what were you feeling? What were you experiencing? And like, what was kind of like the turning point for you as to like something here is not working and needs to change?
Yeah, no, I have a very one turning point that happened when I woke up one day and I knew that I had like 3 client projects due that day, and like all of them were skills I was going to have to like Google to figure out how to do them. So not only was I not going to be able to deliver all 3 on time, but it was a wake up call of like, why am I learning how to deliver something that someone has paid me for, that I promised to them? And it's just like, it's so overwhelming. And I just like balled up in bed. Like I hadn't even gotten out of bed. And I was like, I just don't even want to tackle the day because I know I'm going to have to spend all day learning how to do something and then the rest of the day actually trying to do it to a high enough level. So that was when I realized I needed to start systematizing my business and trying to do the same thing over and over and over again so that I could get really good at it and be able to deliver it and not wake up stressed like that. So
I'm sure people watching will really resonate with that. So I guess the question is like, looking back now, how did you get into like that mess in the first place of like promising something that maybe you didn't realize at that point that you were going to have to go learn?
Yeah, I think it was just because I was like in the boutique agency trap, and like it's this whole idea that the scope just keeps growing and growing, and somebody likes to work with you, so that relationship is there, and then they just want help with the next thing that they need, and you don't even think twice about whether you're the best person to do it. You just agree to do it because you've been working with them, they're paying you, maybe you're on a retainer. I was in this case. And so I was just kind of saying yes to any of the requests that were coming in. And I'm good at learning things. So I had been successful doing that, but it all came to a head because I woke up that morning and I was like, I don't feel like doing it like this anymore. So, but it was the retainer model and just being a reliable person for them. And so I just agreed to it. So.
And so you had this turning point and you realized things needed to be more like systematic and repeatable. So I'm not sure if like, were you consuming stuff at that time? Is that when you came across us, or like, how did you go from, oh my God, I can't do it this way any longer, to figuring out what systematizing it even looked like?
So this was great. So I actually found you through Chris Doe. So this was in the...
Thanks, Chris.
I know. So this was in the Clubhouse time,
Yep.
actually. So I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
was on Clubhouse. I was like obsessed. I was one of those people who was like always on it. So I like got into Chris, and then I started following his channel, and so he did the video with you, and that's when I like real. It was like everything you said in the video was like what I needed to hear. So then I went to your YouTube channel, and I'm like the quintessential, like I binged everything for like days. And it was like, COVID, I had broken my foot. So I wasn't like I was like out and about. I had a lot of time to just kind of like hunker down. And so I was like sold on the whole productize. It was like music to my ears. I was like, this is
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
need to do. So
And I actually don't remember this. Was there any like when you came into our world? Was there like any sort of hesitation on like hopping into the program and getting started, or were you just I
no,
forget?
I remember, and it's so funny. I remember the sales call with Wakar, and like he was doing the sales call, and I was like, I literally do not need to be sold. Like I'm doing this because I think this is like the process that I am supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
But I was like,
yeah.
yeah, no,
The
I'm
best type.
ready.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, any other questions? I was like, nope. Like I was like so ready to just dive in and figure it out. So no, I'm probably like it. I was definitely pre-sold.
Got it. Okay, cool. And so you hopped in and like now you're kind of committed to like actually following through on this. Like what were like the early like surprises or takeaways or things that you implemented out of the gate where you felt like, "Oh my God, I'm moving in the right direction." And or, "Oh my God, I'm got myself into something crazier."
Well, I think for me, so I initially niched to pitch deck design, which I quickly found was still too wide. But so I was doing like any pitch deck, you know, and I realized that you can't systematize that, not as specifically as I wanted to with a small team.
Yeah, because
So
you had like
investor deck,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
doing all kinds of different things. So, and they're just very different. And so there was no way to really streamline that process. And so I had to make a decision between investor decks and capabilities decks. Those are kind of two decks that a lot of people need. I mean, there are all kinds of decks, but those were like a common ask I was getting. And I landed on capabilities decks for a number of reasons. Investor decks are very complicated, but I felt like I could really add the most value on that side because I mean, I have brand experience, agency experience, creative experience. So I like know what their struggles are. And so I leaned very heavily into that. But there was like a first 6 months of like just doing pitch deck design and like testing pricing, testing different clients. I also enjoyed agencies more. So it was once I specialized in capabilities decks, it got a lot easier after that. But that first 6 months was a little bit rough. I was all over the place.
How can you kind of speak to the like I niched down to decks, but that still wasn't enough. And kind of like the learning cycle through that, because now you yourself in creating these decks, it seems like a common recurring theme is that these other agencies aren't positioned clear enough, which obviously leads to a lot of the challenges of like scope creep and all these things. So can you talk through that?
Yeah, so it's interesting because what I did for myself is what I do for my clients. Right. So it was very weird meta situation. But, you know, it kind of all came to a head because I wanted to run ads. And it was funny because I remember like I kind of ran ads a little bit early for your program, I feel like, but I wanted to do it because I just wanted to see what would happen. I had a little bit of extra cash. And so I quickly realized that I couldn't come up with like an ICP or like an ideal client if I just kept it pitch decks wide. Like there was no way to like hone in on like who to call out. So I almost forced myself. And I mean, I always recommend this to my clients now. Like you're not married to that initial positioning, but you need to specify to get in the door, whatever door you're trying to get in. For me, it was ads and running a successful ad campaign. So like I had to specialize in order to successfully run an ad to somebody. Like when you go to target an ad, you have to like target someone. So it's like that's what forced me to narrow my thinking even more. And so now I use that with a lot of my clients, which I'm like, well, let's just come up with like a digestible intro offer for your bigger agency, even if they are full service, just to pitch and get you in the door. And then obviously you can upsell, the client trusts you now, you can do other things for them if you want, which in a lot of cases they don't and they stay specialized, which I'm always happy about. But I was one of those people where like specificity scared me.
Yeah.
I did lose clients kind of, but then not really because I feel like they all circled back around. And like, I also, for clients that like, way back in the day, I was doing, graphic design, websites, all the things, like I referred them. So I was still able to kind of like help them, not leave them hanging. But the specificity and getting very narrow was like, it was a great process for me. And the ads kind of forced me to do it. So
I love that the ad piece kind of came up on that. But like, I know a lot of people watching this will probably resonate with the like being scared to now specialize. Like you came from like working with bigger brands, celebrities that like obviously even just the celebrities, like the allure of like, hey, can you do this? And like the stack of work ads. But like many people watching be like, wow, you went to that to like capabilities decks for agencies. Like it's very specific. Was that terrifying? Like how did you convince yourself to get through that? Because it seems like a lot of people get hung up on well, if I specialize, what do I do with these other clients that are coming my way?
I think for me, and I think this is true for a lot of agencies, I think you think that the other requests are going to just stop when you specialize, and like they really don't. So I wasn't scared because I could take that work. I just wasn't promoting that I did those things. So for me, there was a little bit of a transition, like obviously legacy clients where I was still doing some of those things, but like with my story of waking up having to learn new skills, that was like actual trauma. So like I definitely didn't take on anything where I didn't know how to do it at a very like basic level. So, and I mean, I honestly feel like, especially now that I'm like doing sales calls and I'm talking to cold prospects, like I get a lot of comfort from knowing I'm really good at what I do. So that was another thing that like pushed me even more into deck design. Like I haven't built a website in, 3, 4 years or something like that. So I wouldn't even be able to comfortably say like, yeah, I can do that. So for me, it was scary, but again, I wasn't married to it. In my mind, I was doing it really for ads and like to get one flow of leads coming in. And then once I saw how well that was going, it was definitely easy to get rid of the other projects that I didn't want to do anymore.
Yeah. So I guess for people that would watch, like we've been kind of having this conversation this weekend actually about like, well, the more opportunity flow that can be coming your way makes saying no to the wrong stuff better or easier. And so getting out and marketing yourself becomes infinitely easier when you are as specific. Hey, real quick, if you want to position and specialize your expertise and do it quickly, I built the Positioning Sherpa GPT, and it's free in the description below. In just a few minutes, you can refine your positioning just like Lindsay did. Let's hop back to the chat. So like if you want more people coming to you, you need to be able to market, but marketing is hard if you're not marketing to anyone specifically. So you got that part. So now let's talk about delivery.
Okay.
Because it's a creative act. How did you go about productizing this, designing capabilities decks? Obviously each client is different, but how did you do it?
So I go back to the Christo video, which again love that video. And I think like I feel like it was even eye-opening for him. Like I feel like creatives, we do a lot of things that we do for every project. So I started there. I was like, how can I get it done as much as possible before the real creative juices have to be kind of like put into this? And so I was like training my team on like, and like when you create a deck, the words need to go on the page, maybe the best photos or videos might need to be brought onto the slide. Maybe the backgrounds can all be set. Like, there are things that don't require that full zhuzh at the end. So like for me, it was about, and I mean, a big part of the deck is obviously writing it. So we now do that part completely in advance of any design, which saves you time because you're designing against the final copy. So that saves time. But then like I was just training them step by step. And now I even have it to the point where like, even though every deck is custom, my assistants bring in all the assets into a template that looks really good. So when I go in, there's like a beautiful deck already there, just that they've been able to kind of copy paste, and then I can decide how much I want to kind of tweak and customize. But it was really just about iterating through like what are the steps? How close can I get this to something that then I can do my like creative zhuzh on, like, but without me? So it took time though. That, for me that, and I still don't do templates and like it's still custom, but it's been about incrementally trying to get them to get me further along. So that's like I literally now just come in, the deck is 90% there, and then I just, if I want to do like a full overhaul, I can. Like if my creative mind is just going, I can, but like it's already 90% there, so I don't have to do a bunch of crazy design.
You talked about the step-by-step process. In the program, we kind of have you visualize that. Can you talk to like how kind of having like a visual of your process and like what the offer actually looks like and does kind of helped throughout this process?
So that was a huge eye opener. And another reason why I pivoted away from investment decks, because that visual was so much more complicated for investment deck. There's just so much that goes into those versus capabilities decks. So, the from to each step that I was doing was like really helpful to just understand like in phases how this is going to work. So that's when I broke out like write it first, then refine the writing, then design it. So those are kind of like the bigger three phases. But I literally went, and it took, again, this type of stuff takes time. So it's like, it's not like it happened quickly, but maybe over the course of like 2 months, I had a Google sheet of literally every step we did. And like, if something new came up, I slotted it in. And it was like, that was my rough, like, that's now converted into an Asana project that we like duplicate for every client. So there's been an evolution of it, but like, if I found like we had friction at a step or if something could be better, like I would flag it in red, write notes, like if it was for my team, record a Loom video. So it was like a long list of everything we did from start to finish, from like we received payment all the way to the end. I automated some steps where I could, like once they pay, they get an onboarding email with their onboarding, like all of that is, so it's like, but it literally, you have to just keep like iterating through, and as anything new comes up or if there's friction or any problems, I would flag it and then figure out how to fix it on the next round. So it was like this long
Yeah.
yeah, list of steps. But it's been, that's still, I like love that document. I
Yeah, you
still go
still use
back
it.
to it. Yeah. I mean, it's in Asana now for tracking purposes, but I still go back to it. And like to me, that was like when I really felt productized. That was like
And
the
are you
moment.
using that in the sales conversations?
Sometimes I'll use the visual. I'm more of like the sell the vacation person now. So for me, it's easier to actually use completed decks because that gets them
100%. Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
yay, this is what's going to look like. But sometimes I'll either do it as a leave behind for them. I definitely talk them through that process. But I found that like they don't even care
Because
that
it's
much.
just so
Yeah, it's
specific. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
easy.
yeah.
And it's like, basically I'm saying we write it, we do all the writing, and then we design it. And like they just care about like what the end product looks like. So I haven't used it as much recently, but
All right, so now you have like this specific thing, and like it's productized, and you have this focused kind of outcome. Talk about how that kind of unlocked how you were marketing yourself, because like you were heavy on LinkedIn, like you said, you did test ads earlier than a lot of people. Now you have a YouTube channel, like, and all these things are starting to click. But like you have been putting out content that has been attracting people for a while now. So talk about the content and the marketing piece.
yeah, so I think, and I mean, I feel like I'm lucky in some ways that I feel like I've really kind of carved out my own space around capabilities decks. It was like an untapped market, for whatever reason. The last video on YouTube for it is like 5 years ago. So I don't know, or the big one, with a lot of views. So essentially, I feel like I'm right now alone in like the whole capabilities deck and like being very focused on that. So that's been good. So I kind of market myself as like we're the only agency that specializes in capabilities decks exclusively, and then I'm the only person I know that's like singularly focused and has my kind of own way of doing this, and it's very different from like most decks you see out in the world. And I market it, everything I talk about is like don't do it this way, do it this way. And it's worked well for our clients, so I feel comfortable that it's, that is the right way to design a capabilities deck. But it's made it easy to, market our website, to do ads, and then the channel is very focused just on capabilities decks, turning it into a really sales focused tool that I don't think most decks are out in the world. They haven't really been done that way. And then, I'm a designer, so really focusing on visuals and making sure that you're taking your agency up another level in terms of competitors by you just have materials that look amazing. And so the person you're pitching wants their stuff to look as good as your stuff. So that's like another level of like you will win the pitch and your pitch is more compelling. So it's been good. Like I feel like again the specificity is what got me there. So.
Do you have like, was there any like hesitations or challenges in like the process of like fundamentally becoming a marketer, like being someone that markets yourself consistently? Because I know a lot of people really struggle with like putting themselves out there, whether it's writing or hopping on YouTube and creating videos to promote themselves. It seems like it's a big hurdle for a lot of people. How did you manage that?
I mean, I just think my desire to build a business that is bigger than me is what has made it easier in a way. I just, everyone has been saying you have to do this. I mean, even like, coming from like the world of Chris Do and like just seeing how he's been able to build what he's built and like with you, your YouTube is what sold me. I didn't know you at all. And like it was like perfect. So I just feel like I need to do the same thing. So it's like I was nervous to get on YouTube. I'm probably maybe a little less nervous than some people because I've done like public speaking type, I've been on camera, but for me, it was about feeling like I had kind of gotten my IP together enough to put it out there in the world. And so I started with like creating a lead magnet. To me, that was like the starting point for me, like just getting a solid IP lead magnet down. And then from there, I kind of built everything on top. So I knew I could always like refer back to that. And I had like a nice foundation, but that did make me feel better. And again, that also came from specificity. So,
yeah. So to kind of tie a bow on this, like for those watching that are the Lindsay that was woke up that morning and was like, hit this turning point with the something has to change sort of learning, what would you say to those folks that are in that moment right now, but want something that is, that they're enjoying and can, maybe run without them or that's bigger than them?
Yeah, I would say, get specific, pick one very specific offer, ideally something that you're really good at, enjoy doing, and that is probably your most profitable service. It doesn't have to be that, but don't feel like if you make that choice, you're married to that forever. This is like a step one in the evolution of your agency. So just get specific so that, you can market one specific thing. And I mean, I do this with my clients all the time, like if you do experiential, like maybe you're focused on holiday events, like something that you can say out into the world and people who are looking for that specific thing can come directly to you. Like find that first thing and start there and just view it as like step one in the evolution of the agency. Don't feel like you're going to be trapped. You'll still get other work. You'll still be asked to do things that you don't know how to do. So you wake up traumatized.
don't want to do it.
That you don't want to do. But like just pick something and like start there, start marketing that as your core service or as like the big thing that you're putting out into the world and kind of see where that takes you. And I guarantee you good things will happen.
And if any of those people that are considering maybe hopping into our programs to get help, what would you say to those people in regards to, like, you've obviously hopped in and been with us for a while now, like anyone that's on the fence of like, should I be doing this or what's it like? What would you share to that person?
Yeah, no, I would definitely say hop in. It's so great to see other people doing it. That to me has been like the biggest thing. Obviously, working with you is great. You have tons of training online, and I'm a big like learn, educate on the side, go through the trainings type of person. But even if you're not, just bouncing the questions off people and understanding that there are tons of other people trying to do the exact same thing. Like I preach this for my business to all of my clients. Like it's going to help you grow your agency. It's going to make you more hireable, referable, all the things that we all want. So this program is a great way to kind of really get focused and committed on doing that and like making sure that step by step you have support, you can ask questions, but that you're actually going to see it through and get it done, which I think is the biggest thing I'm happy about. Like, it's
yeah.
happened. You know,
Yeah.
I have a long way to go, but I'm definitely productized now, and like
Yeah.
I'm reaping the benefits of being productized. So it holds you accountable, and you're going to achieve, you know, that productization that you're looking for. So if that's what you want, I'd suggest joining the program.
If you want us to help you through a step-by-step process, like we did with Lindsay, click the link below and apply to our program. And hopefully a fraction as committed to as you are.
I'm motivated.
Because that's what it takes for sure. So for all the agency owners that have shitty capabilities decks, where can they go to find out about you?
Soblu.com, SOBLU.com, or I'm Lindsay Christian, at Lindsay Christian on YouTube. But yeah, if you just Google capabilities decks, will come up.
Yep, and we'll link it up in the description below. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure watching you grow, and now even sharing all of your wisdom with everybody else and just like feeding off of you. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Giddy up. Having a productized offer has not only helped me, but hundreds of our clients get to 6 and even 7 figures. And I break down exactly how I built and scaled my own productized service to 100K per month, step by step. You can watch that right here.